Good morning. Today is May 9th, and the letter day today is A day. I'm sorry. And today for lunch is something edible. Hopefully everyone can look on the website to see what it actually is today. And right now we have a senior presentation by Caroline Kowalski.
Good morning. My family likes to joke that I was born laughing. As I was growing up, the world didn't make much sense to me. It was too cruel, too dark, and too unforgiving. I tried to find ways to cope with this, and I used the one tactic I knew best: laughter. I was born into a family of what I like to call offstage comedians. My dad was a class clown, my brother has actually performed stand-up comedy, and my mother cannot make a cohesive joke to save her life, but is still somehow the funniest person I have ever met. I grew up in an environment that did not only support bad jokes, but actually encouraged them, and said jokes would still get laughs even when they really didn't deserve it. I made joke after joke that honestly, looking back on it, really didn't even make sense. I couldn't figure out what my style of comedy was, and I sort of just piggybacked off of my family's jokes. Around age 12, I turned to the professionals and started listening to some of the greatest comedians of our generation. I started with clean comedy like Jim Gaffigan and worked its way up to some raunchier stuff like Eddie Murphy and Dave Chappelle. And yes, that is what I did my capstone on. After listening to comedy introduced to me by my much funnier older brother, I started to figure out my own style of comedy, a style no one else in my family had. A style that would grant my young self the individuality I was searching for around every corner. I took this not discovered but unlocked part of me and I ran for the hills with it. I was grabbing my metaphorical microphone and performing off-stage stand-up with every joke that popped into my head. I soon learned how patient my parents were with my premature stand-up because as I began to tell other people my jokes, they didn't laugh. This threw me for a loop to say the least when they either didn't get the joke or didn't think it was funny. Nevertheless, I persisted, and I began to read people and understand what they would and would not find funny. Through reading people, I figured out that I love psychology and began to take an interest in the way humans think. I started to explore this fascination, and while adding it to my love of humor, I turned them into full-blown passions. I had found what made me truly happy: making people laugh. I catered my humor to fit the atmosphere around me. I soon realized that sometimes people weren't laughing because of the joke, but they were laughing because I was laughing at my own jokes so hard I could barely breathe. I was blessed with a laugh so contagious that it's become equivalent to a warning sound, letting people know that I'm around. It isn't only loud enough to fill a house, and I know this from literally filling several houses with my laugh, and contagious enough to get a classroom of other students laughing, but it turns my face bright tomato red every single time without fail. And if my testimony isn't enough, one of my senior superlatives was something along the lines of future comedian with the most contagious laugh. As I said before, I started out using comedy as a coping mechanism, but at this point in my life, it has transformed itself into not only a useful tactic to make myself feel better, but it's become a cornerstone of my own identity. It allows me to understand who I want to be and what place I want to have in this world. And that brings me to today. Coping with the fact that not everything works out how I want it to, and I may not end up going to the college of my dreams, I honestly felt like I had no other choice than to make jokes about the situation. I made joke after joke, trying to force myself to feel better and convince myself that maybe it isn't as bad as it seemed. I was absolutely miserable, but I thought maybe, just maybe, I could make the situation a tiny bit funnier. Just as I was dealing with that, I realized I actually don't have the first clue of what I want to do with my life. I grew up believing that I was going to become a doctor, and just as I was rethinking my entire college process, I began to rethink the entire trajectory of my life. I switched from ER doctor to criminal defense lawyer to forensic psychologist to sports commentator to sports medicine, and I'm currently stuck on flight surgeon for NASA, but who knows how long that's going to last. Honestly, if I had my way, I would just marry rich. But sadly enough, there's no trophy wife major in college. So at this point, I have no idea what the future holds for me. But that doesn't stop me from laughing at the situation. Learning to create and appreciate humor, especially in difficult times, has taught me lessons that I'm proud to have learned throughout my 18 years. Growing up is about learning lessons that you will carry with you for the rest of your life, and laughing taught me some of the most important ones. Namely, you can't be afraid to laugh at yourself, that not everybody is going to like your jokes, and that's okay. And my personal favorite, life is much too short to not laugh at every little thing you can. I don't think I'll ever stop making terrible jokes, as those are not only my favorites, but the best kind as well. I owe so much to comedy, as it has been fundamental in understanding myself and establishing my place in the world. As a possible future doctor myself, all I can really say is that laughter truly is the best medicine.
Thank you, Caroline. And now we have a presentation by Dr. Sethi.
Hi guys, how are you guys doing? Hi, good to be back here. Sorry? Oh, can you guys hear me now? Better? Perfect. So I'm here to say hi to you first and tell you about an opportunity that we have at UB, all right? And this will be a summer internship in Department of Biology at UB. It's a great chance for some of your kids to come and work on some basic lab techniques. And who will you be working with? So that's Dr. James Berry. He's a professor at UB. So you'll be working with him, and I'll be there too. So we both will teach you some nice techniques that you can use anywhere you go in, say, field of medicine. I heard someone want to be a flight surgeon, right? So wherever you want to go, whichever field of life sciences you want to go, you can use these techniques, and it will be a great opportunity for you to learn something new, okay? Do you guys know these people? Yeah. So these three scientists were there last summer learning some cool new techniques, all right? And they're sitting somewhere here. I see two of them. Okay, so you can be a part of this program too, and if you want to talk to them and know more about this program, you can certainly do that as well. And over past few years, we had some more people come do some work with us, and Molly, Annabelle, Katie, Clara, all of them, and Emma was there a couple of years ago, and she actually was able to use the work she did for us as a capstone project. So if anyone is thinking about that, you can definitely learn these techniques and use the projects you do in your summer, and you can always come back over the weekends as well if you are free to do some more stuff, and you can use that as your capstone project as well, okay? And what will you learn? That's the big question, right? So what do you will actually be there to learn? So a lot of basic lab techniques, which as I said before, you will be able to use those techniques in any field you go, okay? Be it plant sciences, be it medical field, whatever field you want to major in. So some examples, some of you probably did this in your science labs here, DNA, RNA extractions, and protein extractions, which are very common techniques which are required for anyone in this field, okay? And gel electrophoresis, if some of you probably heard about that, it looks like this, right? And this is your, probably you saw some pictures like this in your CSI, stuff like that. So this is a basic technique used in forensic sciences as well. So this is something you'll learn to do well if you come join us in summer. You probably heard of this a lot, PCR this, PCR that, right? So you will do a lot of RT-PCR, which is a technique used to identify any small molecule of RNA or DNA from any source, okay? So you will be learning this technique. You'll be running a lot of experiments using this technique as well. And I know there are a lot of kids here who are into computer science, right? So we will be doing a lot of bioinformatics as well. So we will be training you in some techniques, which is a mix of both life sciences and computer sciences. I remember, Beth can correct me, you learned Python here a little bit, right? programming. So you'll probably be using that as well, okay? So we will teach you some really advanced techniques in bioinformatics. So it will be a cool thing to learn. And guess who else will be there with us in summer? Any guesses? Miss Coffee will be there in summer, all right? And she will be there to guide you and help you learn new techniques. She'll be there this summer, next summer, and subsequent summers for next few years. We are applying for a grant which will provide us all the money to buy new material, new machines, whatever we want to learn new cutting-edge technologies, okay? And when do we start? So this year, we will start from July 1st, okay? And we will run it till at least August 15th. And doesn't mean you have to come there on July 1st. If you are able to make it before July 30th, you'll at least have 15 days to learn some techniques. So it's a little flexible, okay? And we are there all days throughout the week, so you can come whatever days are convenient for you, whatever times are convenient for you. It's very flexible as far as time is concerned. If you have any more questions, email me or Miss Coffee, and we can take it from there. All right, guys? So thank you. Any questions? No? All right. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sethi. Some quick announcements. So seniors, just a reminder to rep your colleges this Friday for pictures. And if you still are undecided by then, please see Ms. Leslie about what to wear. And then happy post-Mother's Day to any and all STEM mothers. Any faculty announcements?
It's concert week, so 11:45, ensemble, 12 o'clock, Glee Club. Everybody, right? And the schedule will go just like that through Thursday. Thanks.
Freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, your course request forms are due in my mailbox by 3:30 today and on the portal by 3:30 today. The portal will close at 3:30 today if you haven't turned those in. If you're not going to be able to turn it in today, just send me an email and let me know. Thank you.
Seniors, if you've not picked up your graduation invitations, please stop by today and pick those up from me. Also, if you'd like a copy of Dr. Sandra Block's book, she comes in tomorrow. Girl Overboard is in my office for you to pick up. Thanks.
Any other faculty announcements? Student announcements?
So the crew team had a regatta this weekend, and our Novice 4 boat placed first.
Our senior quad got third in the straight quad and second in our Cox quad.
And one of our JV4s made it to finals and rode very well in finals, so good weekend.
Any other student announcements? Have a good day, and everyone get to class.